Okay, today we're going to look at solving one-step equations, and specifically we're going to look at addition and subtraction equations. So to solve a one-step equation means that we want to figure out what the variable is going to equal. So you can probably figure out what this variable is going to equal fairly easily in this problem, y minus 20 equals 15. But remember, we're learning about the steps that we take to get the answer here, and we're not as concerned about the fact that you can figure this out in your head, okay? That's a great thing to be able to do, and it's a great way to check your answer, but remember, we're learning the steps here. So the first step is to draw that line down the equal sign just so that you can separate the two sides of the equation, okay? And that's just a visual to help you out. It's not an absolute necessary step if it doesn't help you. Then you want to locate the variable. In this case, it's y, and it's on the left side of the equation. So what we want to do is we want to get the variable all by itself on that side of the equation. So we have to undo whatever is being done to y. So in this case, we are subtracting 20 from y in the equation. So to undo minus 20, we're going to add 20. Now we don't want to be like Steve, we want to be like Bob, and we want to remember to keep our equations balanced by adding 20 to the other side of the equation as well. Okay, and so what we get on the left side of the equation, if we have this minus 20 and this plus 20, well, since those are inverse operations, they go to 0, and they kind of cancel each other out. And we're left with just y on the left-hand side of the equation because y plus 0 is just y. And then we're going to do 15 plus 20, which is 35, and that finishes up the right side of the equation. So we achieved our goal. We got our variable by itself on one side of the equation, and we figured out what it's equal to. Y equals 35. But we want to make sure that we are correct and that this works for our particular problem. So we're going to check our answer, sometimes known as a checkaroo. So to check our answer, we're going to start by copying that problem down so we copy down the problem that we started with, the equation that we started with, to make sure we don't make any mistakes. And then we're going to take that 35 and we're going to replace it where y is. So we have 35 minus 20 equals 15. And then you actually want to figure out, does 35 minus 20 equal 15? Well, 35 minus 20, that is 15. And so 15 equals 15. So our answer is correct. So our answer is y equals 35, and we checked it to make sure that it is in fact true. So that's all we have to do. Those are all the steps. And I'm just going to do one more example. This time we're going to start out with an addition problem. So let's say I have 20 equals m plus 5. Okay, so I did this intentionally, and I put the variable on the other side of the equation to show you that it doesn't really matter. You could rewrite the equation so that m plus 5 is on the left, but it doesn't matter. We're going to put a line down the equal sign. The variable is over here, okay, and we're adding 5 to it. So to undo adding 5, I subtract 5. And to keep my equation balanced, I do it to both sides. Plus 5 and minus 5 go to 0, so I'm left with m. And then 20 minus 5 is 15. So I am claiming that m equals 15. So now I want to check my answer by copying down the original problem. So 20 equals m plus 5. And then I replace m with the 15 that I think is the correct answer. I do 15 plus 5 is 20. And 20 equals 20, which means that my answer is what I expected it to be. Okay, so this is how you do addition and subtraction problems. You want to use those inverse operations and the properties of equality.